Hey, welcome to Training with Kayce. I'm your host, Kayce Cover. And today, in our puppy prep series, we're going to talk about preparing a pup for an injection. And I told you last time, this is way easier than people think it's going to be. People think that the problem is going to be putting that ouchy needle into the animal's skin. A lot of the vets are so good at doing this, the animals barely even notice. What's a bigger problem for them is the constraint that can be involved, and also their own tension, the uncertainty, the fact that something is unknown. And the vet may be a little bit uncertain about things too. If your dog tends to jump around, if your dog could be aggressive, it doesn't take a big dog to do a lot of damage. We'll talk about that another time. You get bitten by a little dog, you can go right into shock. So everybody just needs to be prepared. So let's talk about what it is. It's actually way easier. Let's pretend that my arm is your dog, okay? And sheesh, I look a little bit like Popeye. My goodness sakes. Okay. Anyway, it's from loading hay years ago. So we're going to relax that dog. We're going to work on the neck where the injection is going to go in. We'll often go in on the neck or in the thigh muscle. Just, call your vet, ask them what they like to do in general. The scruff of the neck is very frequent. So just find out what they're going to want to do. Some of them, if you get a Bordetella vaccine, they're going to want to spray it up the dog's nose. So you need to prepare that for that. And there is no needle involved in that. So, like usual, find out what the event is so that you can plan for the correct training. But in general, if a vet is going to give a needle injection into the scruff of the neck of a dog or a cat, it's not much different for a horse either. You can start out by teaching the animal to relax, or not just teaching them, but helping them to relax. And we say, get easy. And we'll say, ooh, you're tense. Can you see the tension in my muscles? But watch what happens when my muscles get compressed. See what happens? I just naturally relax. You can try it on yourself. I can't keep like this. Now, I have strong muscles and I have strong hands. And I'm really getting in there and compressing those muscles, which then results in my hand relaxing. All right. Then, once I get the animal relaxed, I say to them, may I touch you? There, that's a touch. Good, thank you. I'm going to touch you for two. You ready? One, two. Good job. So we're imagining this is the scruff of the neck, okay? That is really good. Can I touch you for four? One, two, three, four. Good job. Thank you. I want to show you push. Good. That's push. I want to show you prick. Ow, that's prick. Can I prick you again? Okay. Ready? Good. Good dog. And I prick you for the count of two. One, two. Ow, ow. Good job. Thank you so much. That was really great. Okay, I want to show you the syringe. And then I'm going to take the syringe. Imagine this is my syringe. That one would be kind of intimidating, wouldn't it? Okay. I'm going to use my syringe and I'm going to prick you. Okay. Now, by the way, just in the training, I don't know. Let's see. You see those two little things? I just pinched myself hard enough that it left two marks. That's literally how I pinch the animal. And I tell them this might hurt. And I tell them, ouch. And then I say, can I show you? Can I pinch you? All right. And so then I'm going to go to a prick. And now this isn't, now this is representing me, not the animal. Now I'm going to show the animal. This is the prick with the needle. Ow. Okay. We want to do that at your scruff. So we're going to go back to this being the animal, right? And I'm going to say, this is your scruff. Okay. Now I don't really have a scruff there. So just bear with me. All right. Here's my scruff. You can let my shirt represent my scruff. This is your scruff. Good. And we're just going to gently extend that scruff. That is a good, easy animal. Good job. And then we ask the vet to come up and show the animal the syringe. So now all of me represents the animal. And the animal is usually curious about the syringe. And they usually don't get a chance to see it. How would you feel if somebody just said, oh, pay no attention to me, I'm just going to stick this in you? It's much better when you say, this is a syringe and this is what is going to prick your skin. And I'll even show them on myself. You ready? This is what it looks like. Ow, but it's okay. Okay, can I try it with you now? Does this work? Yes, this works wonderfully. And I was at a zoo aquarium one time working with some wonderful staff. And one of the people came right up to the front to sit right next to me. And some of the people were a little worried that this person was a skeptic and maybe had an attitude, and they didn't want me to feel bad about it or anything like that. But that was not a problem. I'm a skeptic. And I asked the person what brought him to this event. And he said, I want to see how you teach an animal to allow you to stick a needle in them. And I said, would you like to play the part of the animal? And I will let you experience exactly what it feels like, what we teach the animal, what we show them, what they experience. Yeah, I'll do that, he said. So I did everything I told you. I asked him to get his arm tense. Then I got his arm really relaxed. So he was just laying it gently on a surface. And then I went through and said, okay, this is touch. This is press. Whoops, sorry. Touch, press, poke, prick. Right. So we kind of worked up to it. Then I asked him, may I prick your skin for the count of 1? And he thought for a second. He goes, yeah. I go, okay. And this is literally what I did. And I pricked it hard. And he kind of goes like that. I said, thank you. That's all. That's all for that one. And I said, but I need to do it another time. Could I do it another time? And I'm going to do it for 2 this time. And I'm going to do it harder. So he thought about it momentarily. He goes, yeah, thank you. And this time he kind of like went like that. And then I said, okay, that's all for that one. Thank you. I said, now I need to do it another time. And I need to do it really, really hard as I can. Would you be okay with that? And he looked a little askance. He goes, yeah. And I said, why? Why is it okay with you that I'm pricking your skin? I'm pinching the heckaroonies out of you. And he got thoughtful and he looked a little surprised and he got just a hint of a smile and he said, because you asked my permission. And asking permission is one of the most important things in animal training. Ooh, that's what we should do next. asking permission. Okay, I promise you it would be simple. Is that simple? That is so simple. It took me about 10 minutes to explain it. That literally only takes 1 or 2 minutes to accomplish it in the vet's office, even. And so, what you need to do when you're in the vet's office is take the time you need with a relaxation. So, I remember being at a vet's office with a wonderful cat who was a little on the, yeah, no, he wasn't flighty, but he was reactive. He was a very smart guy, but he was ready to hold his own. So, as his owner, who is an excellent trainer, is holding him in her arms and she's getting him relaxed, and he's got his little claws on her arm. And she had to literally lift him and kind of unhook his claws out of her skin. And she took a little extra time with him to really get him to be more comfortable. And it worked. She took him in. The vet gave him an injection, 1, 2, 3, just like he had with her 2 dogs. And he goes, "Oh, that was pretty easy. Is that an easy cat?" And the owner was thrilled with him. And she's smiling ear to ear and she's hugging her great cat. And I said, "No, he's not a particularly easy cat. In fact, normally, like if a car went by on the street when we were sitting in the garden, he'd like spring out of your arms, like pulling down with his claws." So the fact that he let this vet that he didn't really know just come up and stick a needle in him, pretty remarkable. And he didn't even claw either of us, any of us. Okay. So be confident. Now, let me give you one warning. Don't try luring an animal to distract him from a needle. That's a breach of faith. That's a betrayal of confidence. You might not want to see it that way, but that's what it is because it's just not necessary. You don't have to hide what you're doing. You can be honest and transparent with the animal. Because I worked a lot with pigs, and pigs are very food motivated. But if you think that they don't notice you sticking a needle in them, you're wrong. And I happen to know about that because if you go on my YouTube channel, look for the blood collection with the pig. And it's a really short video, less than a minute. And you're going to see the difference between pigs where the blood was just taken and pigs that were taught, what was going to happen. Night and day difference. You got to see it to believe it. I'll put the link below. And there's a lot of noise with it. The mama pig is screaming because she's worried. But the pig we trained wasn't worried at all. Now, let me just make one more point about that. If you train an animal for blood collection, that's more complicated than getting an injection. An injection is just you slip the needle in, you hit the plunger, you pull the needle out, you're done. Whereas the blood collection, you've got to find the site, you've got to find the blood vessel, you've got to withdraw a little bit to make sure you're in the blood vessel, and then you can collect your sample. The animal needs to hold still during all that time, so there's a longer duration. Now, this particular blood sampling technique, not sure why they wanted the blood from the vena cava, but they were taking the blood from the vena cava 1 inch from the heart. It's a blind stick. You just have to know the anatomy and go to that blood. It's not like, yeah, take a left at the collarbone. Then They stick the needle up to the hilt. It's a 5-inch needle. If they nick the vagus nerve, it can be lethal, all right, to the pig. So we wanted to make sure all those pigs were so comfortable with this whole procedure that they would just cooperate. And they were. They're so comfortable, we had a problem. And that problem was they all wanted to be first. What do you do then? We taught them their names and that they had to wait till their turn was called. And when you watch the video, you're going to look behind the technician who is also their trainer. He's a great guy. I tell you his name, but I'm not sure. I don't want to impose on his privacy. Great guy. It was a privilege to work with him. Anyway, there's another pig behind him, standing there very quietly at liberty. He's not tied or anything, but he knows his turn has not been called. So he's respecting the other pig's turn. Seriously. Seriously. And do you know how long it took? So I just said, hey, we can do this in 1 or 2 minutes for injections. As long as we don't try to trick the pig and distract him. We've got to be transparent and explain everything and prepare him so that he has confidence in us. But when we're going to draw blood, we have to do all those things I talked about. We've got to get the blood into a specific site. We've got to draw back and make sure we hit a blood vessel. We have to then deliver. Oh, I'm sorry. Then we draw our sample and it's a bigger, longer needle, the whole bit. Guess how long it took to train each pig on average to not just accept this procedure, but to cooperate with it? Because you're going to see the pigs are freestanding. How long do you think it took to do that? Man, put it in the comments. I want to know what you think it would take. And then go find the video so you can see how long it actually did take. It is freaking amazing. Okay, so I've got to put the pig blood collection video in the notes below. And then we'll keep going with this. Okay, I got to check my notes again. What did I tell you we were going to do the next time? Oh, asking permission. How to ask and the importance of it. Boy, this is a good reminder for me. It's easy to get a little sloppy on some of these things, like asking permission, but it's extremely important. Hey, everyone, thank you. Please comment. When you comment, I feel like I'm connected with you, that we're actually getting a chance to talk. I read every single comment. I respond to them directly. While you're there, I'd really appreciate it if you like and share. And of course, subscribe. All of those help us get the word out, and it helps us build this channel. So until next time, when I'm going to ask your permission to give you more information, have a great life. Bye-bye.